Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is a paid request for RB. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, movie reviews, re-reviews, random thought streams, commentaries, tier lists, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. Do have a CashApp as well. Links are down below in the info box, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. For those who sent them, thank you. I do appreciate it, and thank you for your patience and your kindness. I do appreciate that, so thank you. But yeah, PayPal, Cash App, links are down below. Feel free and I'll get to it when I can, if you wish to. So this is for the 2024 film Heretic. Now I have seen this film before, so I gave it a second watch because of this. And how I feel about it last time, I still feel about it. Where I liked the film, it is an interesting idea. I think the first half is much better than the second half. Hugh Grant is the best part of the movie. Hugh Grant, I like. I like him as an actor. The romantic comedies he did, like Notting Hill, is not normally the kind of films I watch, but he has a charming aspect that I could watch him as a time waster for fun. He's really good in this film called Extreme Measures. I wish that would get a Blu-ray release with him and Gene Hackman. Underrated film. I won't give away the plot of that movie, but Extreme Measures is pretty good. At least to me it is. I'll say the setup is that he plays a doctor and there's homeless people missing. And he's investigating why are these homeless people gone missing, and it leads to these doctors led by Gene Hackman. I'll put it at that. But that's a film no one really talks about, but I thought was pretty good. The trailer's awful. I would not even suggest watching the trailer, because the trailer doesn't sell the movie well and it gives too much away. So I would say don't look up the trailer for Extreme Measures. It just gives too much away. Anyway, but he has this disarming charm to him. So he has like the smiles and the good graces and the seemingly kindness, but you see there's something a bit more to him, and he's very smart character, and there's definitely something more sinister behind what's going on as the movie goes around his running time. But he is great. He's wonderful in the film. The two leads who plays these Mormon missionaries, Sophie Thatcher, which I saw in Companion this year, 2025. Didn't mind that film. She plays the more experienced, not as naive missionary, and then you have Chloe East, who's more of the innocent one, maybe seemingly younger. They do a good job. The plot is pretty simple. They're doing their knock on the doors, trying to sell the Mormon faith. They're not pushy about it, at least, but some would say that's unrealistic. But they're not pushy about it. They're not angry or antsy or bitchy about it. They're just, oh, okay, that's fine. Move on their day. And they talked about South Park. They made fun of us. Yeah, but the music is pretty good and they're pretty funny. So I think the two of them worked well together. They meet up with Hugh Grant, who invites them in. They're like, no, well, we can't really do that. You said your wife's here? Oh, yeah, she's making blueberry pie. And they can smell it. And, it seems like everything's legit. But I like that the characters still question and still try to be cautious. And then the good first chunk of the movie is a dissertation on religion. And I do think those conversations, I found them intriguing. I found them interesting. There's a bit of sense of humor, because I never thought Monopoly and Jar Jar Binks could be put in this conversation in some pretty funny, clever ways, at least to me. So the first half of this movie, when I first saw it and watch it again, I like. It drops the fucking ball in the second half, and that's the problem. It does not have a good finish. It's like a really good blowjob or hand job, and then blue balls. It's like, I guess you're not going home, satisfied. It'll be put in I gotta get into spoilers when I get to that, but it's just, I did not like how they went with the second half. And I still overall liked it, because I liked Hugh Grant's performance still. The first half has some really interesting ideas, and then it's like, we don't know what to do with this. So we throw this other stupid bullshit in there. Now, the two directors, they did a film called Haunt, which I've heard of. I never saw it. I was getting confused with this film called Hellfest, which I did watch and didn't mind, but I don't think I've ever seen Haunt. But I mentioned the setup. I mean, I like the back and forth of the two lead girls. Hugh Grant is really good. And I mentioned I like the conversations, the dictation of religion, about he's discussing about the hypocrisy these religions sometimes have. Like Mormons, there's a thing with polygamy back in the day, a man with multiple women, but now that's frowned. How come that's frowned about now, but wasn't frowned upon back then? And then the two ladies are trying to explain it and how that was the thing back then. And well, a man needed multiple women because he wanted the thing to thrive, and but now it's not so much. And it goes into, well, religion is popular because you believe in it so much. So if I say I like Burger King the most, and then blah 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 and blah blah blah, and Wendy's and McDonald's, but the last thing I want to talk about is trying to find the Wendy's of religion, or how he compares it to Monopoly. And I thought this was a fun scene where he shows, well, as Monopoly, there was a game called the Landlord game, which apparently is true. There was a game called the Landlord game. But then you think of Monopoly, and now they have all these other Monopolies, and he shows like all these Monopolies he have, including a Bob Ross Monopoly, which they did not even know was a thing until this movie. Like, they did a Bob Ross Monopoly. I looked it up, and yeah, there is a Bob Ross Monopoly. Like, I've typed right now, Bob Ross Monopoly. Yes, it is a real thing that he did for $58 from Walmart.com. Now, if I put the Landlord game, yes, it is for sale. Patented in 1904 by Elizabeth Maddie, about taxation. And if you look at it, it's fairly similar to what the Landlord's game was, the inspiration for Monopoly, but aimed to teach players about the dangers of unrestricted capitalism and came with an alternate set of rules. So it's not the exact same, but it was an inspiration for Monopoly. But you wouldn't know about that. And the point is that it gets to this Bob Ross Monopoly and all this other stuff. Well, then it upsteers the original. So how much does a thing get regurgitated and changed? I just kind of like playing telephone. You say one phrase, you go through 15 people, person comes back and maybe a completely different phrase. And about how other religions had similar story to Jesus. So who's to say that the story of Jesus is really prominent to the story of Jesus? And he mentions, well, this place has this about the cross, and this has this about a carpenter, and this has this. So, and that was before the time of Jesus. And like, he's trying to make the case about how he's trying to find the one true religion, but well, that doesn't track with this, and that doesn't track with this, and that doesn't track with this. These are interesting questions that makes you think about your faith, wonder about your faith, take your faith into question. And he mentions about how, maybe 100 years from now, people will think the gospel is the Phantom Menace and Jar Jar. You remember Jar Jar, huh? And he's like trying to mimic Jar Jar. And I never thought I would hear Hugh Grant try to pretend to be Jar Jar Binks, but there you go. And he's saying this a lot better than I'm making it out to be. And he finishes with, I think religion is as hollow as these silly games. Now, if the second half really delved into who Hugh Grant was as a person, as to what started this ball going, where we find out he's like this if it doesn't have to be tragic, but this figure that his wife or someone else died, was murdered. So where's God? Where's faith? Where's all this when something like this happens to good people or decent people? Like if it was going with that, and that's why he's questioning so harshly on it, maybe that could be interesting. And then that tragedy warped his mind. Or if you find out Hugh Grant, it's making it seem like he's a villain, and then twist, he's a good guy, or he's a guy who questions, and because he questions, others will view him as an enemy when all he's doing is questioning the state of affairs. And I think an interesting twist would have been if the two leads became villains. If not fully villains, but just they're of the faithful, no, Mormon, this is the true faith, and how they get like angry, upset, you're a heretic, you take that back, and how they can't handle someone else's opinion and judging the system, asking about the system, challenging the system, and about how people could be so stuck in their ways and so stuck in their beliefs and so stuck in their one line of thinking they can't handle someone else's different opinion of, having a wider spectrum of potential knowledge, potential ideas, potential circumstances, and how having that one line of thinking can be helpful to a point, but if done the wrong way could be very toxic. So maybe one of the ladies, or if not both of them, is like, no, what he's saying is not true, blah, blah, and then tries to go after Hugh Grant, and then maybe the other girl has to help Hugh Grant, and they have to work together against this one, and maybe the true religion is just, whatever the case, trying to have your trust in your fellow person, and you may just screw it out 9 out of 10 times, but that 10th time, that person could really try to help you, or be your brother from another mother, or your daughter from another father, or whatever. I mean, I don't know. I'm spitballing here. There could be other different, better directions, of course. But it doesn't do that. It doesn't at all. So again, the first half, some interesting questions done in some humorous moments, again involving Monopoly, and I'm like, wow, this is very interesting. It's like someone giving a lecture on this stuff, but doing it in a very conversational, somewhat entertaining, intriguing way. I appreciate that. And Hugh Grant was a good actor to pick for that. Hell, if Robin Williams was still alive, he would have been good in this part. Like, Robin Williams would have done a really good job with this, too. But Hugh Grant does great. But then, spoilers, the second half happens. And what happens is, oh, go pick a door. You have faith or you don't have faith. You believe, you don't believe. The doors lead to the same fucking place. And then the two ladies see this woman. And then the woman ends her own life. And then you have this useless fucking subplot that is only there to give false hope. Like Topher Grace, the fucking shitty Venom from Spider-Man 3. He's there to look for someone, those two ladies. He gets there, Hugh Grant says hi. Does Topher Grace try to help? Does Topher Grace realize what's going on? Does Hugh Grant try to kill him, or it does kill him? No. Topher Grace says, hey, here's a pamphlet, goodbye, leaves, you never see him again. I don't know why the fuck they hired Topher Grace, because, I don't give a shit about Topher Grace, but he's, people know who he is after that 70s show. He's been in films Predators, Spider-Man 3, so he's been in some stuff. I guess as a red herring of hope, I guess. But that went nowhere. That was completely fucking pointless. You could cut all that out and nothing would change. And then it goes this direction where the woman who ended her life is resurrected and has stories of heaven. And Sophie Thatcher is skeptical because she had a near-death experience and she didn't deal with that. And something to do with this Taco Bell incident, which, trust me, I could buy Taco Bell killing someone or almost killing someone. Because I had Taco Bell years and years ago, never again. Because Taco Bell tastes like fucking paper. The shell tasted like paper, the cheese tasted like nothing, the meat tastes like nothing. It must be called Taco Hell, okay? Fuck Taco Bell. Again, it's Taco Hell. It should go to hell. So Taco Bell probably did kill someone or will kill someone, if not down in the future. That's the one thing about Demolition Man I'll disagree with. I don't want to be in a future where it's only Taco Bell. Okay, McDonald's I could deal with. Taco Bell, I don't know. I'd put me back in the freezer until a new restaurant wins the franchise wars. Okay, Burger King, Long John Silver's, hell yeah. McDonald's, even Wendy's. But fuck Taco Bell, that's the worst. I hate that shit. Ain't tacos, ain't anything. Anyway. And so while all this is happening, Hugh Grant comes up and kills Sophie Thatcher, which I thought was a nice surprise. Oh shit, out of the blue, cuts her neck, her throat. Didn't see that coming. And then Hugh Grant tries to make the other girl, Chloe East, believe that she's in a simulation. I'm like, what? Like the Matrix? I mean, where the fuck did this come from? Like, this out of the blue conversation. Just change of direction now. Just, phew. Now you're in a simulation and this. I mean, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, oh, I got something in her arm and this. I mean, what the fuck? This seems like, okay, I guess the character's plan went out the window, but it didn't because this is how he wanted it. I said, what the fuck is he doing? Why is he talking about simulations? None of that was part of the conversation for the other fucking half of the movie. What the fuck are you talking about? And then all of a sudden, Chloe East, who's like this more naive, innocent girl, becomes motherfucking Columbo. How? If it showed earlier that she was good at puzzles, that she was good at, puzzles and magazines, puzzles and whatever, okay. At least he gave me a bit of leeway that, okay, she's good at that, so that's how... No, she just knows stuff. She just figures shit out. She realizes he's improvising, and this woman was fake, and that was a trap door. I'm like, how the fuck did she figure this out? What about her character that we've seen before in the first half, where she's like this, like scared, like little mouse of? Now she's Miss fucking Columbo. This came out of fucking nowhere. It feels like a different character, honestly. If it was Sophie Thatcher, I could buy her a bit because she has a little bit more. Then she feels like she's lived this world a bit more. She's a little bit more able to suss out bullshit. But this girl, it didn't make any sense. It was poorly implemented. It was poorly plotted, in my opinion. Again, if you gave a few nuggets of info that she was good at puzzles or she was into mysteries and trying to solve mysteries, like she's reading mystery books and, oh, I knew who the killer was. Like, if you incorporated any of that, maybe. It'd be a tiny maybe. And it doesn't. So the simulation stuff didn't make sense. The whole her being Miss fucking Columbo, I know repeating that because it's hard to even say it out loud without being befuddled. And it was out of character. And then she goes down further and finds women in cages. So Hugh Grant is keeping women in cages because he wants to break down their mental faculties, because apparently to him, the one true faith, the one true religion is control. Okay. Like, that's where this all was going with. It just seemed like such a bullshit, lame ass excuse, like they gave up. It felt like the writers just gave up. Had women in cages. You just, you know... And then the fucking girl, Sophie Thatcher, got her throat cut. It's been 20 fucking minutes of the film. 20 minutes of film has transpired. And this girl who got her throat cut is still alive. You know what? I have not got my throat cut. I hope I never do. But if someone took a knife and did this, in 20 minutes I would not be getting up and be able to fight Hugh Grant. And somehow fucks up Hugh Grant too. No. 20 goddamn minutes and this lady whose throat was cut is able to beat up Hugh Grant. And then eventually dies in Chloe East's arms. But I'm like, can someone explain how the fuck someone survives for 20 goddamn minutes with a throat cut? And then be able to... Explain that to me, please. And then the ending is supposed to be this ambiguous bit where Chloe East goes out and she sees a butterfly, then she looks back, it disappears. And there was a conversation earlier in the film where one of them goes, if I die, I hope I come back as a butterfly. So whether it's supposed to be when Sophie Thatcher with the throat cut grabbed Hugh Grant, was that supposed to be some weird resurrection thing? Or was it like her ghost? Or was it some faith or miracle that made her stop Hugh Grant? And that's supposed to be the faith miracle, and now she's been reborn as a butterfly? Or is it Chloe East is dying? Because she did get injured. So you see hallucinations. At least that's what some people have said in the movie. So she hallucinates the butterfly, and that's why it's not there anymore. And so while she thinks she's okay, she's really going to die, and she's hallucinating. I don't fucking know. I don't know why it had to be ambiguous. I don't think this movie called for that. The second half of this movie was just fucking lame. Interesting setup. Intriguing build. 3 good acting performances. Hugh Grant stealing the show. Thought one of the better performances I saw in 2024. But it's like they did not know where to take this story. They did not know. They throw other stupid ideas that come out of the fucking blue. Characters acting out of character. Characters surviving somehow when they shouldn't. Or trying to be some other stupid shit, but not explaining anything because we're smart because you gotta figure it out. You fucking figure it out and tell me. Not every goddamn thing needs to be explained, but not every goddamn thing needs to be ambiguous either. No, this time you explain it. Scott Beck and Bryan, where the fuck his name is, I forgot his last name, I don't care. Scott and Beck, or Bryan, or what the fuck your name is. You explain it to me. God damn it. You fucking explain it. And even if you do explain it, it doesn't negate the fact that the fucking woman dying, oh, it was a trapdoor. That was just a lame fucking fart in church. Lame dutt fuck of a finale. And reveal. Oh, cool build up, and what a fucking flat finish. I mean, it's not a rant because I liked Hugh Grant's performance that much. I would never buy this. I would never own this. I would only watch this again if it was a paid request or a commentary request or something. But was it worth one watch for me? Yes. And a second watch, the stuff I liked, I still liked. The stuff I didn't, I still didn't. So take that for you will. Thanks for watching. Take care, everyone. And we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.